because this subject right here also kind of goes where it is that what I'm talking about and how the social justice left operates. Now, this has been a hilarious thing to see unfold because the person that we're talking about, and J.K. Rowling, she's a leftist. By every sense of the word, she supports all sorts of social justice causes. But there's one particular point and subject matter that and it's the topic of conversation in today's day and age, that she is not with. And that's pertaining to this whole trans situation. Are they women, the erasure of women and all that? She has been very firm on this, and she isn't bending or breaking seemingly for anybody, despite her being a leftist. Despite her being a motherfucking leftist. Covering this from John F. Trent from Bound Again in Comics, DC Comics writer, and his name is Andrew Wheeler. Says that JK is playing with his or them's personal safety for rhetorical clout, which doesn't even make sense. And as you see, this is some DC shit. This is very homosexual. Oh, I forgot about that DC Pride shit that they came out with. This is the type of shit they're putting in your comic books. By the way, again, like I said, the social justice left is continuing to be, let's say, they put their views out there and it shows in the books it is that they're writing, but it's no balance. I think that's the biggest problem. It's less about okay, this book is political or these are politics. Keep politics out my books. It's less about that, and I think more people would have less issues if it wasn't so one-sided. It's not like you're gonna see a DC MAGA. You're not gonna see that, or a DC libertarian. Like you know what I mean? Like you're not gonna see that where they get all their libertarian heroes and they fucking have these like get anarchy right because he's an objectivist now. And they'll get him in there and they'll have him like do all these. They don't do that, right? They do the gay shit all the fucking time. They do all whatever the social justice left and their particular views. They'll fucking promote that like it's going fucking out of style, right? Which again, that's the problem here. It's the lack of balance. I told y'all, DC and Marvel, the social justice left controls them. Leave them alone. Let them die. So he is, and looking at him, and this is, what's his name? Andrew, right? Andrew Wheeler, having such issues with JK and what it is she's saying. And Wheeler, this is, let me see where he start going off is down here. Hold up, right here. He says, you are empowering the far right forces that endanger all women and queer people with misleading and hateful rhetoric. Again, not an argument. That's, I have made up a boogeyman. And because you're not saying what we want you to say, you're empowering the boogeyman. Now, he's not saying that she's wrong or anything. It's all about rhetoric and stuff that they care about and all that dumb shit. It's not too late for you to walk back from the dark path you found yourself on. And again, JK hasn't said anything particularly. Let's say this. I know certain YouTubers don't like when I say this. It's a mild fucking statement, or rather mild position that it is that she has regarding women versus trans women or whatever, or like men being able to swing and identify as whatever the fuck they want. It's a mild statement. He continues on. He says, I won't see your responses to this, folks. So why not spend the time you might have used crafting a scathing put down to instead reflect on how the authoritarian right manufactures culture wars to divide its opponents? It's not manufactured. And again, it's tough. It's funny he's using authoritarian right. I think the authoritarian left particularly are the ones that started this shit. Protect trans kids. I hate that term because it ain't no fucking such thing. And yeah, that might be controversial, but come the fuck on. If they are that way, it's because you wanted them to be that way. Far right to little boy wearing a dress. Take that off. It means you're not a real man. Gender identity theorists wanting to wear dresses means you're really a girl. Radical feminists, boys wear dresses. You look great. Which one of these two positions are most alike, Andrew? Says JK. And this is what he says. I was prepared to give the benefit of the doubt to believe she cannot conceive the scale of abuses she invites into people's lives. But this is extraordinary. She retweeted someone who tried to link me to pedophiles, rapists, and misogynists. Well, I totally get, and it's less about the conflation, but where people have used your movement, let's say that, to co-sign pedophilic bullshit. I mean, we've seen that happen. We've covered some stories here. She's playing with my personal safety for rhetorical clout. This is always what happens. You went and said something to someone, they responded, and now you the one that's now under the threat. This is what I was talking about in the previous segment and also in the opening conversation. And that is, people think they could say whatever the fuck they want to you, and God forbid you fucking even respond saying you got it wrong, then they all fucking pissy hurt. Because I asked her to lead with love rather than play into the hands of the far right. Please look at what comes so easily to you, Andrew says. Ain't nobody playing with your personal safety, dude. This is what gets me with the dramatization with these cats, man. They're like, oh, well, it's worse than what it actually is. Because they have a boogeyman built in their mind, and that boogeyman has to exist. If the boogeyman doesn't exist, all of what they say is horseshit. Fucking weirdos, man. These guys are fucking weirdos. But again, you see how these folks are acting. I say you act accordingly. A lot of them have now infiltrated virtually every form of industry of stuff that you have grown up to love and stuff that you like, and they are using that as a platform to put forth their social justice bullshit. And in some cases, y'all continue to fund these crack smoking motherfuckers. You just listened to a clip from my podcast, For Canon's Sake, which is live throughout the week at 12 p.m. Central on youtube.com/YoungRipper59 and odyssey.com/@YoungRipper59. Be sure to check out my website, ericdjuly.com, so you can stay up to date with everything it is that I'm doing. You can also become a member and get access to a bunch of cool perks and exclusive content, which includes a social media hub where you can interact with myself and other members. It even has an app that you can get, which is now live in the Google and Apple stores.